Alright, got another game here. It's between me and Alex, 2002. Guy I've played a few times in the past, but not for a while. He's playing with Widwen the Biting Gale, who I think is probably the, I don't know, maybe #2 blue-black commander. I think definitely a distant second from Dralnu, which is the only playable blue-black commander in my opinion. I've talked about this at length before, but I think you deciding which commander to use, unless you're using them purely for fun, you got to pick a commander that can exploit mana-heavy draws, or at least that generates a fair amount of card advantage. And outside of your opponent trying to kill Widwen over and over again, it just doesn't fit that criteria. It's just a 3/3 flyer. At its absolute best, it's still just a 3/3 flying wizard, which is pretty mediocre in my opinion. So really, when you're playing a commander like Widwen, or to a lesser extent something like Grand Arbiter, although at least Grand Arbiter has a pretty awesome power initially, you're really just banking that you're going to win the game with the support cards rather than with the commander itself, which is fundamentally an unsound strategy in this format, I think. Anyway, I've got a pretty solid draw here, although it's a little bit slow. I don't have a 1-drop, but I have lots of mana selection. Got Trinket Mage to go fetch Soul Ring, and of course Winter Orb for late game stuff, and Skull Clamp, which has been just an all-star in this deck. His turn is going to begin, as many of these games do, with him going first and playing Soul Ring, and me having no way to kill it. That's okay. I top deck Mana Vault. So you think, well, 3 mana, 2 mana, right? They're equal. Not really. Here he's got Thoughtseize for me. So looking at my hand, I'm thinking, man, he's going to just take Trinket Mage, and I think that that's the obvious play here. He doesn't probably know how powerful Skull Clamp is outside of its synergy with my commander, which is a long way off. But he takes Winter Orb, which in my opinion is a dubious choice, given that he's got Soul Ring in play, and Winter Orb is not going to be on high on my list of priorities of things to cast, especially given that Trinket Mage, I mean, he's got to know I've got Soul Ring in my deck. He saw me play a Tropical Island, and I'm not a moron. So certainly I do have Soul Ring in my deck, and that means that I'm going to catch up to him in mana really quickly. So I think the play here is certainly take Trinket Mage. He did not take it. And I top deck Vindicate to punish him for that choice. This works out extremely well. I float a white, and now instead of getting Soul Ring, I get Mox Diamond. Throw away that island, Vindicate the Soul Ring. Just like that, I'm ahead. Look down by a card or two. So he recoils my Mox Diamond. And with it back in my hand, I really, really want to hold on to it because I want black mana, but I have no guarantee whatsoever that I'm top decking a land here. I absolutely have to keep the Skull Clamp. That's a no-brainer. So I figure if I throw away the land and I don't draw land right now, I'm going to look really foolish. So at least if I hold on to the Steam Vents, I've got 3 of my 5 queen colors still available: green, white, blue, or red. So as much as it pains me, I have to throw away the diamond. And sure enough, I draw a Tree Speaker off the top here. So I immediately just play the Tree Speaker and clamp. And the reason being is I have no intention of leveling it up. I don't need extra green mana right now. And if I do level it up, I lose the ability to clamp it to kill it. Plus I just want cards right now, and I do definitely want land. There's a Savannah. I just need black, really, more than anything. Just try to get Sliver Queen down to exploit clamp. So I'm going to clamp this guy and attack. This is a very, very timely counterspell I've drawn. Especially because he's obviously going to run out his commander at the end of the turn. Counterspell. And on his turn, main step, Fact or Fiction. So, in my opinion, this is sort of the pivotal point in this game right here. It's deciding exactly what to give him. Now, I have a little bit of a clue in that he played Riptide Laboratory last turn with no wizards in play and no real incentive for casting this. That's kind of a tell to a certain extent that he does not have another land in his hand, which means this swamp is a lot more tempting. Now, because of that and the fact that I've got a 3/1 guy in play, Liliana doesn't really have a lot of value for him, in my opinion, right now, because he plays Liliana, he has two choices. He makes me discard this mystery card, which I don't particularly care about right now, and I attack with Trinket Mage and effectively shut Liliana's secondary ability down, or he makes me sack, in which case I draw 2 cards off the Trinket Mage and it shrinks Liliana down to 1, and I very likely get the black mana I need to play Sliver Queen. So I'm not really too concerned about Liliana. In a way, I almost want him to have it, because I kind of want him to make me sacrifice my Trinket Mage. So I'm pretty sure I'm going to be giving him Liliana. The question is, what do I give him Liliana with? And Sower here, I'm normally wouldn't be too concerned about this, but I really, really am thinking the long-term Queen plan. I also value the Trinket Mage a lot too, and I don't want to give him the Sower because of that reason. I do have Treachery, but I don't have a 5th land. It could be a long way off. Granted, I do have the Mana Vault plan. But him with a Sower in his hand to potentially steal Sliver Queen is a big deal, and I really don't want to have to deal with that. So I'm pretty sure I don't want to give him Sliver Queen. The Swamp, I'm kind of sure he's going to take no matter what, especially if my guess about him having no more lands in his hand is correct. So I'm going to want to put the Swamp with the cards that I want him to have. I definitely don't want him to have Forbid, given that this is going to pump his hand size up to at least 5 and possibly 6. And I have only 1 card, so Forbid is definitely a no-brainer. So this is going to go in the Do Not Get pile. And the more I think about it, as much as I hate to have him have Jace in this situation is not that great either, given that I've got a creature that can kill it in 1 attack. If he bounces the Trinket Mage, it shrinks Jace, and I get to replay the Trinket Mage to get Soul Ring and some other shenanigans. So, kind of just comes down to this. Believe it or not, 2 Planeswalkers and a land versus Sower and Forbid. So, I don't know, maybe this is the wrong decision. It certainly has a huge impact on the game, as you'll see. But I think I'll stick with it. If anyone has any opposing opinions, feel free to post them. So that's what I choose. There they go. And he does play the Swamp. And so on this turn, I'm thinking, well, I have a Treachery which I can't play. I'm drawing a random card off the top of my deck. At least I know next turn if he does play some random creature, I mean, who knows, like maybe he plays Frost Titan or Wormcoil Engine or something random. Maybe the Treachery suddenly turns into something useful. So I'm just going to untap the Vault right now. And my deck punishes me by having me draw Enlightened Tutor, which would have been awesome here, as you'll see on this next turn. Because he taps all of his black to him me. Ugh. And being able to tutor there would have been just fantastic. I could have gotten probably just went to get Sylvan Library. Lots of other choices too, but yeah, even Crucible would have been really nice too. Crucible to go get Misty Rainforest or Island. Crucible's a nightmare for blue-black decks to deal with too, because they can't really get rid of it. I think probably what I ultimately would have gone with Sylvan, given that I don't care about having 35 life, and Sylvan Library would basically just say draw 8. That's not going to happen. And he does have Jace too, to make it even worse. He drew a land, so he Fate Seals me, which is certainly the correct play. I'm thinking draw black. Let me draw black. Ugh. Hallowed Fountain. That's not black. Attack with the dude. Say done. So things are looking a lot more bleak here. He plays Liliana and casts Standstill. Suck. It makes me sack, which is pretty damn nice. I mean, I guess he just didn't want to make anyone discard. He doesn't really have much of an alternative here. I think maybe a reasonable play would have been to bounce the Trinket Mage, given how many counters Jace has. I guess he has 2, but bounce the Trinket Mage under Standstill, and then make me discard with Liliana, right? Doesn't that seem like the correct play? And then I'm stuck under Standstill. I have no creatures. Liliana is at 2 counter, or is it 4 counters? Jace is at 1, and I have no Trinket Mage. That's obviously the play, but he doesn't do it. He lets me draw 2 instead. And I get Vampiric Tutor and black mana, which is so awesome. And if I had drawn these in reverse order, imagine he does the play the other way. He goes, return the guy to your hand, discard. Now it's at 4, and I lose the Trinket Mage. And then I draw Vampiric Tutor, which I can't even cast because I have no black. And at that point, I probably just scoop up the game, scoop up my cards here. But he doesn't do that. Crazy. And then he Fate Seals me again to get some more counters back on Jace. So yeah, I feel like this was definitely a series of errors by him right here. And he also lets me draw my card, and I'm very shocked to find Veldikon Shackles on my deck, given that his commander costs 3 mana and I've already got 3 islands in play. Seems pretty good. But we're not concerned about the Shackles right now, we're just going to cast Queen. Even if that means he gets to draw 3 cards. Because I've got Clamp and 4 mana available because I untap the Vault that turn. And now he's got to mess around with the Sliver Queen, so while he does that, I make 2 dudes. And he plays Venser, main step. Again, I gotta wonder about that. I guess he just doesn't want me to clamp, but dude, you can bounce my clamp in response to me clamping my guy to cost me a mana. And he makes me discard. And this is a no-brainer also. I just throw away the queen so I can get it back later. And it's just of no value at all with so little mana and him with 3 counters on Jace. So during my upkeep I tutor, and my plan here actually is to go get something to protect Skullclamp, because Skullclamp is my entire game at this point. I absolutely need to get Skullclamp out so I can start clamping slivers, and hopefully ramp up enough mana to cast Queen again, maybe with protection, and start clamping tokens. These guys are getting bigger and it's getting worse. And this I don't get either. He's like, what am I going to vamp? I guess in his mind he's worried about me getting something that costs 5. Like maybe I get Tezzeret the Seeker or something. Not that Tezzeret even does anything with his offense. But that's, as soon as he uses his Spellstutter Sprite to counter that, I'm just thinking to myself, God damn, that was awesome. I'm so glad that that was not Skullclamp that he was using the Sprite on. So I draw a land, which is awesome as well. Go get another black source. Cast the Shackles. He says, so what's worse for me, tutor or clamp? I say, it depends. Yeah, exactly. Clamp is worse. Considering I was just going to go get mana drain anyway that I would have had to discard. Skullclamp is out. So first I get to, actually, I don't even get to attack. I have a long-term plan here. So he makes himself discard Counterbalance in order to level up Liliana. Attacks for 1. Draws 3. And he suspends Ancestral Vision, which I think is another mistake as well, given that he's got 7 mana total in play, which is enough mana to use Riptide Laboratory and recast Venser. And he's got like I didn't grab his guy, right? So he's got to figure at the end of the turn I'm going to steal his Venser and try to kill off his Planeswalkers. So he's going to have to use Riptide Laboratory. That's a no-brainer. Yeah, the reason I didn't steal anything with Shackles initially is because of the Jitte, of course. I can't let him get counters on Jitte. So suspending this Ancestral Vision that's not going to activate for 4 more turns, along with having Jason play, another big mistake in my opinion, that is going to have a huge effect on the game. Because he obviously bounces his Venser back, but now he can't recast it, which is huge. Because if he recasts it when I use Shackles, all I can do is like recast Shackles and use it again to very little effect. Draw Strip Mine. Quite nice for getting rid of the laboratory. So now I steal his guy, clamp it, drawing 2, and I get Lotus and Karn. He's got 3 cards in hand, and one of them is Venser. And this was another really, really tough play here. I was thinking a bit that maybe I want to just play the Strip Mine and cast Black Lotus, or cast the Gilded Lotus, which will allow me to run out the Karn and the Queen and everything. At the same time, if he has a counter spell here and I tap out to play the Gilded Lotus, I get royally screwed because he can bounce one guy, make me sack the other guy, Venser the Lotus. I don't know, it's just like a bad situation all around. I have to attack here though. I'm sending them both at Chase. Shrinking him down to just 1. And clamp 1 Sliver. Because I want to draw a buffer against Liliana because I like all these cards. I get Swords and Bant Charm. So now I just decide I want to kill off Riptide Laboratory because I don't want him doing Venser shenanigans. It's just too much of a pain in the ass. Plus I have the ability to Bant Charm Venser once the Riptide Laboratory is gone. I'm really kind of thinking ahead here about like how are these situations going to unfold? What kind of interactions are we going to get? Draws 3 again. Makes me discard. I don't need the Lotus anymore since I don't see an opening to cast that. Throws away 4 spike. Screw that stupid card. So bad. So I draw another land here. Sending this guy in at Jace. I'm thinking, come on, cast your commander or something. Do something really foolish. And he's got random snuff out. So I gotta counter that. Bant Charm. He's got Venser. Old school magic for the old school players. If you're an old school player, Alex, that's true. So when his Venser comes out, I'm thinking, okay, well, he's just going to counter, he's going to probably bounce my Shackles or something, I guess. Right, and just, like, I'm not really sure what the play is here exactly, because the Snuff Out doesn't even need to resolve if he's got Venser. He can just bounce Shackles and then block the token. But nope, he bounces Bant Charm. Because I fucked up and did not leave a green untapped. I absolutely should have tapped the Steam Vents instead of the Bayou. That was dumb. But of course, I think it's probably his overall best play is Venser the Snuff Out back to his hand. Then use Venser to bounce Shackles. That would fizzle the Bant Charm anyway. And then he can just block the token. He still has the Snuff Out in his hand. But he doesn't do that either. He bounces Bant Charm back to my hand. Unfortunately, that kills the token. Play my land and just steal Venser here. And as soon as I did that, I realized I should have. That was a big mistake. Also, I absolutely should have skull clamped the Venser, because if he uses Liliana the Sack, which he probably will to protect his Planeswalkers, to protect Jace, I get to draw 2 off of it. So as soon as I did that, I was thinking like I need mana available to Bant Charm, but the more I think about it, like what the hell do I need to Bant Charm here? So he definitely makes me pay for this. Makes me sack, which sucks. And I feel like a moron. And now he plays Future Sight to further complicate things. I'm not completely drawing dead here. I still have Karn, but it's looking really, really ugly. End of turn. So, things are getting really, really ugly now. I have 3 cards in hand. He's got 2. So far, I've seen a couple of counter spells. It is not unreasonable to think he's got 1 more. And as much as I would like to cast Karn right now, the only thing I'm safe from is something like maybe Condescend or Syncopate. I do not have protection against Counterspell. I can't Bant Charm to protect Karn, and I really, really need to get Karn out. Of course, there's a huge risk involved in that, which is if I play Karn, if I let him take a turn and he reveals Future Sight off the top of his deck, and he certainly has a lot of card selection here, then things get even more rough for me. And then, I guess if he has a counterspell in his hand, I'm screwed either way, because then he's got extra protection for it. So I ultimately decide that I want to just untap Mana Vault and wait to see what I draw. And that way I can at least cast Karn with protection. I don't need the sword, so I draw Curse and Verge. Not useful. So I just elect to hold that in my hand. And of course I've got this stupid ticking Ancestral Vision right now also. So I'm thinking, reveal something crappy. As far as crappy cards go, that's about as crappy as he could draw. That is, like, cast it please. I've got Shackles out. This is also a fundamental reason why letting your opponent have Shackles for no reason versus a random card off the top of his deck is probably not wise. So I see that, but then he's got Jace, so he can just filter it. And you see some Metamorph, kind of interesting, and Misbind Click, which is kind of garbage. So he casts Zenith, which is kind of a neat play just to reshuffle. There's a Tar Pit on top. And Mana Drain. Sigh. And it makes me discard, so I just throw away the Verge, which I don't need. We are grasping at straws here, folks. 1 turn left to go. I draw Witness. And even though there's a lot of cool stuff in the graveyard, I don't really see it doing a whole lot. Let's say I've got 3. I could Witness, Bant Charm, Vindicate, I guess. But it's really just, what do I accomplish doing that? I have to get Karn on the board here. And the whole game is Karn, although I don't really know which one I would kill. I guess I would probably just cast Karn and kill Future Sight first. and given that it's more likely to draw him, with this much mana, draw him into a solution to it. Either way, it's just awful. So I'm going to cast Karn with Bant Charm. And of course he mana drains off the top to reveal Glenelenge Archmage. Jesus. And I fight back with Bant Charm. Lo and behold, he has Miscalculation, which is what he had in his hand last turn, which is meant that if I had tap 7 for Karn last turn, he would have had the Miscalc for it and countered it either way. So, given the way the situation is, I've got no game here at all with this guy coming online next turn, also to stop all the cool things I might regrow with Eternal Witness. Oh yeah, and that's right, this is coming offline too, so he's drawn Mistbind Click, Reliquary Tower, and Dust Bowl. Not too useful. There's another land on top, and now he's drawn Teferi. And seeing as how, well, the writing's on the wall, effectively. He's got 7 mana in his pool as well from Teferi, or from the mana drain. I do not see any long-term prospect for winning this game. So, unfortunately, I have to pack it in. But definitely an interesting game. Swingy. He was way, way ahead and then actually gave me some openings early on. I feel like I made a couple of dubious decisions, or questionable decisions at least. The decision to strip mine in lieu of playing Gilded Lotus. And also the decision to, or the tapping of my mana incorrectly. Not that it really mattered that much based on how he played, but I think had he given me the Bant Charm back, I don't know if he would have played the same if I had green mana available, but if he had, I could have Bant Charmed the Snuff out again. Well, I guess he could have still blocked. I don't know. Yeah, I could have. Yeah, he couldn't have blocked because I could have stolen it with Shackles. Maybe I could have won this game. I don't know. Things had played out a little bit differently, but it was definitely an interesting game to play and review either way. Hope you enjoyed it.